Hamilton Beach breakfast maker has sizzled its way through the past decade, earning the title of vintage in today's fast-paced world. I'm going to do a review of this product, but before I do, I want to briefly go over that James, who I'll link in the description below, did a review on this product where he followed the instructions as is. I'm going to do the same thing, but go off the instructions just a little bit to see if we can improve our results. I note that there is conflicting information between the Hamilton Beach written instructions and the Hamilton Beach video instructions. James from Frickin' Reviews followed the written instructions.
Oh, it's falling apart, but maybe it's gonna work. Let's see. Egg is cooked and the cheese is very melted.
And as you can see in the written instructions, it says in this order: place bottom half of bread, such as an English muffin, small bagel, or biscuit onto bottom plate. Top bread with ingredients such as pre-cooked meats, vegetables, and cheese. Lower top ring and cooking plate. Now I'll cut to video footage from James's review where he does it in that exact order.
And we're supposed to top it with Canadian bacon and a slice of cheese, which is square, which that's going to be interesting. Now we'll lower this one so we expose the top ring.
When we go to the Hamilton Beach video instructions, we can see that the individual in the video does it in the order of placing the English muffin on the bottom plate, then the cheese, then the meat, and lowers. This particular model of the breakfast maker is an older version that includes a visual timer. The newer versions, which I will also provide a link to one in the description below, they don't have a timer. So that's just based off of preference, and if you all want, I will do a review of one of the newer versions in the future, though I think it will be roughly the same in terms of results. For test number 1, I'm going to follow the instructions/tips of a commenter in James's recent video. They state that you should start the process off by cooking the egg first. So you're going to want to lift up the cover and place the cracked egg onto the cooking plate. Cook that egg as is for a period of 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then you want to lift up the cover, place the top of the English muffin on top of the egg, and cook that for another minute to 1 minute and 30 seconds. After that's over with, you can put the remaining ingredients on the bottom hot plate, so the rest of the English muffin, along with the cheese and the Canadian bacon. Then cook everything within the device for 2 minutes. This commenter is the inspiration behind the testing throughout this whole entire video review. This is the product right here, and it has a 4.4 star rating on Amazon. Now the claims on this product are that it can be used to make pretty much any breakfast sandwich of your choice, and you can choose any cheese, meat, etc. Your food should be done in 5 minutes, and it's easy to clean and easy to use. Let's briefly go over the parts to this device. So here we have the cover. If you open this up, this is the top heating plate. We have the rings right here, as you can see. This right here is the cooking plate handle, and if we move this way, we can see the cooking plate right there. Lift this up. It's a little bit rickety, but that's okay. Then we have another ring right there. And if we lift this ring up, we'll see the bottom cooking plate right here. These are the indicator lights, and this is the timer. And you can adjust it via these arrows. And this is the base. I've gone ahead and I've cracked my egg onto the cooking plate. Now it's time to close the cover. Then grab this and plug it into the wall. Right now the device is preheating. Once this turns green, that's going to mean it's preheated. Okay, now that the device is preheated, as you can see by this green light, I'm going to place the egg inside. The egg is now on top of the cooking plate, and I'm going to close the cover and set the timer for 1 minute 30 seconds. An important thing to note is that down below here where the timer is, once it gets below 1 minute, it starts counting down the seconds, which I think is pretty cool. So 30 seconds left, and then we are going to put the top of the English muffin on there with the egg. So the timer just went off. I'm going to open the cover up and place the top of the English muffin onto this egg. I have the top of the English muffin here. I'm going to place it on there like so. Close the cover, and then set this for another 1 minute and 30 seconds. The timer did again just go off, so I'm going to lift up this top portion. That's lifted up like so, and I'm going to put the bottom ingredients down like that. Going to stick the cheese on like that, and then the Canadian bacon on top like that. Then we're going to close this and that and set it for 2 minutes to finish up. We're counting down now below a minute, and an observation I want to make is I do not see any cheese or egg leaking, which is a very good sign. I think we're onto something here. And we're finished. Let's pull it out and see what we have. Lifting the cover up, then moving the cooking plate over like so, and then move these rings up like that. I have the spatula underneath and moving this over here. I'm going to clean this off and let it cool down for my next test. This is what I call a sight and feel test. From a visual perspective, I really like the way this egg sandwich looks. And most importantly, not a lot of drippage. Maybe a little bit of cheese drippage, but not a lot. I'm going to cut into this and see what it looks like. Everything looks very well done. The cheese isn't too bad. The cheese for the most part stayed on to the sandwich as a whole. And I really like the texture it provides on the bottom of the English muffin. The egg looks cooked nicely, and we can see the Canadian bacon. Overall, really nice job. That concludes test number 1, and now we are going to move on to test number 2. In this test, I'm going to be doing the same thing, but instead of using thicker, sharp cheddar, I'm going to be using a more creamy, light sliced Kraft cheese. The device is all cleaned up and also cooled down. So now what I'm going to do is take this and plug it into the wall. There we go. It's going to begin preheating, and then we can start putting things inside. The device is preheated now, so I'm going to lift up this top and put my egg in there. My egg is in there now, so I'm going to close the cover and put the timer on for 1 minute 30 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, now we can lift up the top, and we are going to place the top of the English muffin on here. Okay, now close the top of the cover and set the timer again for 1 minute 30 seconds. Now that that's completed, I'm going to lift this top part up. I'm going to place the bottom part of the English muffin on the bottom plate, as well as this little bit of cheese. And this is again Kraft Singles cheese. So it's a little bit thinner and creamier. And then we have our Canadian bacon right here. So we're gonna put that on top and then grab these and pull these down. Like so. And then we are going to set our timer for a total of 2 minutes left. I do want to note that I see no leaking of cheese or egg, again, on test number 2. Now I do see some English muffin back here, but that is not leaking. I think that's just from how I put all the rings down. See, as you can see there. Everything is still looking really good, and I would say so far a very clean process. 4, 3, 2, 1. Our sandwich number 2 has now completed. I'm going to lift up this top. Nice top section. Whoa, a bit of steam. Move this cooking plate over to the side like that. Then we can push down our sandwich like that, just a tad. So that way when we pull these 2 rings up, it should fall right through. There we go. Just from a first glance, everything looks nice and neat and well cooked. Beautiful. The breakfast sandwich is on top of my spatula now, moving it over here. And now time for the sight and feel test. This sandwich has been cut into. We can see and feel that the texture to this sandwich is really nice. I like what the cheese does when it soaks into the bottom of the English muffin. And I also think the egg just came out really well as well. No dripping, nothing like that. So altogether, a really nice breakfast sandwich. I do notice too with the Kraft sliced cheeses that they are creamier. So far, I would rank that as my favorite breakfast sandwich we've done today. For test number 3, I'm going to do the pancake sausage breakfast sandwich test, using Kraft Singles cheese and using the same technique as the other 2 tests. This device is all cleaned off and cooled down again, so we are going to go forward by plugging this into the wall. Okay, There we go, it's on and it is preheating. Let's put the cover down. It just finished preheating. The green light did just turn on. So now it's time for the egg. The egg is now in there. So let's go ahead and close it up. And set our timer to 1.5 minutes. Our timer just went off. So let's pull this cover up. Wow, that looks really beautiful. And then I'm going to place this pancake on there. There we go, a little bit snug, but that's okay. This is a 4-inch pancake, which is what the instructions said you need if you want to cook a pancake sandwich. Closing this down and cook for another 1.5 minutes. The sausage patty is in there too, so now we are going to set it for a final of 2 minutes. The timer again went off, so let's pull this part up. And now we are going to place our pancake on there, on the bottom cooking plate with our cheese, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the sausage patty and put that in there with it. The timer went off. Now it's time to lift up this cover. Oh wow, we're going to move this handle and then we are going to push down in case this has a little bit of difficult time, and then lift up on these rings. There we go. This does look pretty significantly burned. Other than that, it doesn't seem like we had any explosions or anything. And the device is still looking very much clean. Just maybe a smidge of egg on the sides, which isn't very pleasant. That's something to take note of. I think to not get as much burning, that the top needed to, 1, maybe not be so close to the top of the heating plate, but also 2, not be on there for as long. Time for the sight and feel test. After cutting into this, I would say that the sausage patty looks cooked well, so does the egg, and the cheese did well on this too. But like I said, the top faced burning. I actually want to do this test one more time and see if we put this pancake top on at the same time as we put the bottom part on, if that makes it not so burned. This can be served with some syrup, so I have some sugar-free syrup right here. And I am going to put it on like that. This device is cleaned off and cooled down, so we are going to begin the 4th and actually final test now. The device is preheated now, so I'm going to lift up this top and put my egg in there. Then hit 1.5 minutes on the timer. I'm not noticing any leaking on the sides coming out of the rings whatsoever. Maybe a little bit right there, but not a lot. It's certainly not coming down here. Okay, the timer just went off, so we're going to lift this up, place beautiful egg, place this pancake top like so, lift up like this, and place your pancake like that with the cheese, and put the sausage on there, and then close it like so. A little bit of pancake coming out of the side, but that should be okay. Then we are going to put this in for 3.5 minutes. We are at the 1.5 minute mark. Left, I do not see really anything coming out of the sides of the rings or on the base other than the pancake. That's clearly browning. So far, okay. 3, 2, 1. Happy breakfast sandwich. Okay, that looks a lot better. The edges of the pancake clearly have gotten somewhat burned, but a lot better than the time before that. So we take the cooking plate handle, we move that over like so. Then when we lift up these rings, it should all come out. Voila. That looks beautiful. Very nice. Now time for the sight and feel test. Overall, I would say this looks very well done. There is some burned edges, but that might be someone's preference, and in all honesty, that doesn't look too bad as compared to the prior time. That's what the inside looks like with the sausage patty, the Kraft singles cheese, and the egg with the 2 pancakes included, of course. I do want to note that it's important you make sure that your sausage patty is room temperature about when you cook it, because if it's frozen, it's gonna have a little bit more of a difficult time warming up and getting as hot as it should be getting. Overall, I would say that looks really nice. Now, time to add the syrup. Syrup time. This is what it looks like with syrup on there. All in all, I do find that each of these tests performed quite well, with the exception of test number 3, which is why I did test number 4. I would say my favorite of the tests turned out to be number 2, because I just like that creamy texture on the bottom of the English muffin that the Kraft singles cheese provided. I also like the overall cooking of it, which was not that different from test number 1. I do think that with test number 4, I was able to eliminate a good portion of the burned part that was happening in test number 3. And as a whole, I think that these tests each provided us some insight on maybe how to eradicate the immense cheese dripping that you could often find by following the exact instructions as is to this product, as well as the egg drippings. I found that when I followed this individual's instructions, they were very, very thorough, and I find really provided a lot of due attention to how we can improve this product. So with that, thank you all so much for joining, and stay tuned for another review. Take care.